Governor Pete Ricketts outlines his vision for Nebraska agriculture. Ahead on NTV's Grow, Maryland talks one-on-one with the governor, and we hear from young producers at the Governor's Ag Conference. Plus, it was the largest horse market in the world. Researchers hope to tell the story. And could it be the cattle equivalent of the Fitbit? Grow starts now. With farmers aging, we know we need young people to come and work on the farm. It's something 100 young people had a chance to ask the governor about. NTV's John Jankowski has our top story.
Nebraska ag students were excited to hear fresh ideas from the state's new governor, Pete Ricketts. One high schooler from Erickson says the governor's plan to bring land valuation from 75% to 65% will help him a lot.
It'll allow us to buy new equipment and update all of our old stuff once I take over.
Clint Crummell and many other kids plan to take over their family's farm. A UNL student from Ewing says with the world's population growing every day, there's a bigger need for the youth to get involved in the business.
The generations that came before us put the time and effort in to make that available to us, and now it's kind of our turn to take over.
Ricketts and other speakers encouraged students that they were not happy about their school district's ag education to get involved at school board meetings with the issue.
Attending these conferences and learning more about agriculture ourselves is really big, just to take back that experience and that knowledge just to use on our future farms.
The governor says the youth getting involved is crucial to the state's economy.
One of the agenda items we have for our conference is talking about successful transition planning for family farms and ranches, and doing that estate planning to make sure we can get the young people involved into it. That's going to be a key part to be able to help make that transition.
Ricketts says he's excited to work with UNL's upcoming president Hank Bounds to help make the school the #1 ag university in the country.
Another feature of the Governor's Ag Conference, connecting farmers and ranchers to businesses in Omaha, is something the Omaha Area Chamber of Commerce is working on. Here's more.
We're partners across the state, and I think that's the important thing. Is I think a lot of times here in central and western Nebraska, we think that Omaha forgets about us. And I think this is going to be an impactful study to show that not only do they know that we're out here, but they value us. And so I'm excited to see that.
Another big topic, global trade. Governor Pete Ricketts, we will hear from him later on in the show. And speaking of trade, the White House unveils actions to boost exports. Data was released showing the opportunities for agriculture through the Trans-Pacific Partnership, something known as TPP. TPP is a trade agreement to promote job growth, increase farm income, generate greater rural economic activity, and help expand U.S. ag exports to some of the fastest growing countries in the Asia-Pacific region. The data shows fiscal years 2009 to 2014 represent the strongest 6 years in history for U.S. agricultural trade. Exports totaled over $771 billion. This despite many other countries' markets not being open to American products. Here's just a snapshot of how the TPP would boost exports. For soybean and soybean products, tariffs across the TPP region will be cut, offering new market access opportunities. The same goes for poultry and beef. In 2014, the United States exported about $7 billion in poultry and beef to the TPP region. A new Department of Environmental Quality director will take over Monday. Governor Pete Ricketts announced Jim Macy of Jefferson City, Missouri will step into that position. Macy says, quote, "Like my home state, agriculture is Nebraska's #1 industry. I look forward to working with business owners and egg producers across the state in a spirit of cooperation and collaboration," end quote. Governor Ricketts says whether it's farmers or municipalities, Macy's experience will help seek fair regulation for Nebraska's air, land, and water. While men are a strong force in agriculture, more and more women are getting involved in farming and ranching. The Women in Agriculture Conference celebrated 30 years. It's currently the longest running women's conference of its kind in the country. Roughly 300 women from across Nebraska and surrounding states participated in workshops. Many of these ladies note more women are involved in the businesses, even becoming sole landowners.
That number is rising more all the time with parents that have left their farms or ranches to their daughters, and many women, instead of selling those, are deciding that they want to operate it. And so in the meantime, they're searching for the information that they need to have.
Topics covered: crop and livestock marketing, financial planning, estate planning, agronomy, and more. After 5 years of skyrocketing land prices, Nebraska farmland values are going down. A new university report says the state average dropped 3% from last year. Here in central Nebraska, land values dropped 5%. The report says most areas saw a decrease, but not every farmland area lost value. The southwest districts increased by 4%. Providing horsepower for World War I. Central Nebraska once played a vital role on the battlefield and farm. Now, a pair of history buffs. They're trying to bring the story of the world's largest horse market back to people's attention. A hog sale in 2002 closed down the Third City Livestock Commission for good. A far cry from the sales of a century ago, when more horses and mules were sold in Grand Island than anywhere in the world.
Not the state's largest, not America's largest, the world's largest horse and mule market existed here in Grand Island, and there's no book. When they saw that black stallion.
So Jody Lamp and collaborator Melody Dobson have set out to write that book and a website, something they call the American Doorstop Project, where the common thread is how agriculture shaped America.
Spotlight on communities and say, your story is big, your story is significant, and the story is very, very important.
At its peak, Grand Island sold 16,000 horses a week, some of them war horses.
British and French armies came to this area and set up stables.
But after World War I, cars replaced horses, and Grand Island's world-famous barns are nearly forgotten.
You think there'd be some 2x4s, but really, truly, it's gone. And that's the story that we're trying to recreate here.
Grand Island still produces horsepower for the farm, with combines built in the city. But the original workhorses have faded into history.
We want people to know all the stepping stones that it took to make cities like Grand Island what they are today. It is the #1 industry in Nebraska, agriculture.
Pretty cool effort. You can learn more on our website, nebraska.tv. And the Nebraska College of Technical Agriculture taking some top awards. 8 students from NCTA took part in a national contest in Ames, Iowa, bringing home 2 plaques. The NCTA team ended in 3rd place, and a competitor from Broken Bow placed 4th overall. The competition consisted of 4 exams: applied agronomic mathematics, plant and seed identification, applied agronomic knowledge, and laboratory practical. Also recognitions for those making a difference in the cattle industry. The owner of Lexington Livestock Market, Rick Shoemaker, accepted a plaque from the Dawson County Cattlemen in recognition of his contributions to the cattle industry and to beef promotions in Dawson County. It's more than long hours in pastures and fields. Farming and ranching is a business with marketing decisions to be made. We talked with Governor Pete Ricketts about that. We'll hear from him up next.